the whole Illuminati game of human control. It is manipulating and implanting humanity's imagination of itself, subconscious imagination of itself, and that then becomes our conscious reality, the matrix. So if we are going to bring an end to the matrix control, and we need to change our reality and our sense of reality, because then our manifestation of it must change, because one is a mirror of the other, which brings me to this. When you look at this process of the subconscious reality being observed into three-dimensional reality by the conscious mind, it very clearly reveals a simple fact about the human plight. We are combing the mirror, trying to change it. And if you stand in front of a mirror and you don't like your hair, I mean, mine's a bloody mess today, then you don't comb the mirror because you don't like your hair. You comb your hair and then the mirror reflects it. Common sense. But because of the way that we have been deluded in terms of the world around us, we constantly comb the frickin' mirror. So we think and we are led to believe that this world here is real when it's actually happening in our minds. So we don't like what's going on out here. We want to change it. We don't like what's happening in our lives personally. We don't like what's happening collectively in the world. We want to change it. So because we think this is real, where do we go to change it? We go out here. We want to change the world. We've got to do something out here. We've got to war with this person, some people might think, or we've got to have new legislation and change out here. What that does is comb the mirror. And as a result, nothing changes. Because you can comb the mirror all you like, your hair will never change. And the Illuminati are constantly trying to kid us that if we want to bring about change, it has to be out here that change takes place. This is a mirror, it is a reflection. This can only change when what is reflecting it, what is creating it, our inner sense of reality, collective and individual, changes. So if we want to change our lives, we have to change ourselves. If we change our sense of reality, then our holographic representation of that, our daily experience, will change, but only if we change our sense of reality. And we have got caught in this trap whereby we create our reality without knowing it. We experience the reality thinking we are not creating it. And if we don't like it, we try to change the reflection of the reality instead of what is actually creating it. So we're going round and round and round and getting absolutely below nowhere, and this is what the trap is. It's like running round in a cage on one of those kind of wheel things that mice run on. The way to break the circle is to realize this is an illusion, we're creating it, we can change it by taking control of our minds back. So everything in this world, or what we think is a world, is a reflection. It's a reflection of our inner sense of reality. And this knowledge is how the Illuminati control. We can talk about Bilderberg groups and secret societies and manipulating networks and banking scams, and we should. We need to be aware of those things. But the bottom line of all of it that makes it all possible is the Illuminati's manipulation of humanity's imagination of itself. Once they got control of that, they know that we will manifest through this process of creating these holographic illusions, we will manifest the world that suits them. So, combing the mirror, this is Neil Haig again with a symbolic example of the way we are going round and round in circles, trying to change a reflection instead of that which is being reflected. So this is why when we have certain fears, we tend to draw them to us. Of course we do, because when we have all these the fears about this or fears about that, that is our sense of reality on a conscious and particularly subconscious level. So what's that going to do? It's going to manifest the thought fields representing that fear, and then we are going to observe those thought fields into holographic reality. We are going to experience through this method and process the fear that we have. You know, how many people say, you know how I'm frightened of so and so? You know, you'll never guess. You've experienced it. Oh yeah, of course you have. So we are drawing to us all the things that are in our subconscious reality, including what we fear, manifestly what we fear, because it's so powerful. And the more that we take on these mind manipulating statements about, oh, is it an orange alert today for terrorists, and oh, there might be a dirty bomb, oh my goodness me, oh, what's happening with the economy, oh my goodness me, am I going to have a job next week, all this stuff. If we take it on, it's going to become our reality, because we create the illusion of what we think and what we are in our inner selves. But in the same way, if we put out a different sense of reality, if instead of being fearful about things, we let the fear go, because there is no fear, it's an illusion, it's a creation of our minds. If we put out love, if we put out lack of fear, if we put out oneness, the balance of all things, if we put out optimism, I know it's going to be fine, not I think, oh I hope it's going to be all right, I know, we will create that reality. Money and all these things that, you know, people like in their lives and what have you, or whatever their desires are, whatever that form they may take, they are illusions. They're as much an illusion as not fulfilling that desire, not fulfilling that ambition. That's another illusion. So we are in control of whether we manifest the illusion of manifesting what we want, or whether we manifest an illusion of manifesting failing to get what we want. They're both illusions. We're in control of which one we have. When I was in that altered state in Brazil, this voice was telling me about the illusory nature of the emotions that we feel and the pain that we manifest. And once we realize they're illusions, we can maybe do something about them.
It's far bigger than that. It's not just about we have other levels and that's it. It's all an illusion. And it's an illusion that we can enjoy, or it's an illusion that can control us. One of the big things that happened to me in recent years was when I wrote Alice in Wonderland in the World Trade Center disaster. When I finished that, I said to my wife, I said, you know, if I'm going to go further with this, because I don't want to go in a holding pattern just at one level of this. I want to know, and where it takes me, but I want to know. And so I said, I've got to go into these other levels in awareness, not in some dream. What was that dream? What I don't know. But in awareness. And symbolically, or not symbolically, coincidentally or synchronistically, more better term, around that time I was invited to go to Brazil and partake of something called ayahuasca, which is a rainforest plant which shamans in South America have been using to take people into other states of consciousness for centuries. You can have a bad experience on it, you can have a good experience on it. Mine was unbelievable. I took it, I could have taken it 4 times while I was there. I took it twice, enough for me, not done anything like that since. It was an experience. I want to go there without it, because we can. But over 2 nights, especially the second one, I had this extraordinary experience where I went into another state of consciousness, and a female voice, that was the form it took, but of course it was a transfer of thought consciousness, which I decoded as a female voice and decoded into English language, but really it was just transfer of thought. And for 5 hours, this voice talked to me in great detail about the nature of reality and the fact that it was an illusion. And what it said was that our natural state is one of oneness, where we are all that exists. There is no me, we, there is just one infinite I, one infinite isness which we are all not part of, we are all it. But what has happened is that we have forgotten that we are the dream and the dreamer, and the dream has taken over, and the dream has led us to believe that we are a part. We think in terms of parts, not whole. We think in terms of David Icke, not infinite consciousness. And therefore, we've got caught in an illusory trap of division. And symbolized by this picture. It talked about, think of an eddy or whirlpool in a river. It's part of the river, but it's in a different state of reality. It's not flowing with the river, it's in its own little world. And as it said, as long as the circumstances remain the same, that eddy will just keep going round and round and round and round. Only when the circumstances change, the flow changes, will it become flowing back into the river again and become the oneness. And when it started, this voice started talking to me, it opened up by saying, there's only one thing you really need to know. Infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is illusion. And in my mind, I went to say everything, and I got halfway through it said, everything else is illusion. Because what it was saying was, the only truth is the existence of this infinite one consciousness, which is all-loving, all-knowing, all-wise, the harmonious amalgamation of all. Everything else is the imagination of that consciousness made manifest, illusion. We have a dream and we wake up and we say, oh, I had this amazing dream. Well, the only difference between that and this is we believe this dream is real.